Today I'm going to be making rhubarb and strawberry jam. So I've picked the rhubarb from the garden and the strawberries are from our front garden as well. We've been picking about 1 kilogram of strawberries a day at the moment. So lots of strawberries, and we're trying to find creative ways to eat them and use them up with different jams, eating them with meringues, ice cream, just eating them, everything we can think of. So I thought I'd have a go at a few different jams. We've been making just normal jam, strawberry jam recently. We've made about 15, 16 pots so far. So I thought I'd try something slightly different. So add in the rhubarb, and it's a good way to use that as well because that's really kicking off at the moment at the allotment and again in our front garden. So I've got strawberries. So I need between the strawberries and the rhubarb, I need about 1 kilogram of fruit. So I'm going to see how much of the rhubarb there is once I've cut it up, and then the rest of the kilogram I'll make up from strawberries. I need 1 kilogram of granulated sugar, and I need juice of 1 lemon. One lemon, so I'll cut that, juice that, and then the last ingredient is pectin sachets. So there are different ways of doing it, different recipes you can do it without using pectin. I just use different fruit and things, but I've been having a lot of success with these. So I have been using this Tate and Lyle pectin. I have been using this strawberry jam recipe and it's been really good. So I'm going to follow this again just with different fruit and see how that works out. There is a recipe for raspberry and rhubarb jam on the other side, so I might give that a go when we have some raspberries later in the year. But for now, I'm going to make this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the rhubarb, cut the tops off, slice it up into little pieces, and put that in a big pan to start to simmer away. I'm also going to take the tops off the strawberries and pop them in the pan as well. So put them all together, 15 minutes, and they'll reduce down. The juices will run clear of the strawberries. They'll go nice and soft. First thing I'm going to do is put this plate in the freezer. It's just for use at the very end when you are testing the setting point of the jam. So use a plate that's very cold, put a bit of jam on it and see if it wrinkles. So I'm going to go and chuck that in the freezer, and then we're going to get cutting. We've got about 100 grams of the rhubarb, so I'm going to try it with that amount this time, see if we like it. We can always put more in next time. So I'm just going to take the tops off of these and fill this scale up until we get to 1 kilogram. There's our kilogram of fruit. So that was almost both of those Kilner jars for the strawberries and the 100 grams of rhubarb. So now I'm just going to wash it. I'm going to just put it in a colander, give it a rinse off, and then put it in my big pan. While the fruit is softening, I'm just going to cut this lemon in half and juice it. The fruit has softened, its juices have run clear, so I'm going to put in 1 kilogram of granulated sugar and follow that with the sachet of pectin. And then I'm just going to stir that in over a gentle heat until it's all dissolved. now the sugar is all dissolved into the fruit, I'm going to add the lemon juice and bring it to the boil for about 15 minutes. So the jam has been rapidly boiling for 15 minutes. So I've just got the plate out of the freezer, so it's nice and cold. I'm just going to test the setting point, which I think is somewhere we always used to go wrong, because it's still obviously really runny. And you sort of assume that it should be very jam-like at that point, but it's not. It's quite runny still. So just give it a couple of seconds to sit on the cold plate, and then you can just see, you push your finger through it, it wrinkles. You can just see little wrinkles there as it cools. So that's done. So what I'll do now is take the scum off the top of the jam, so the frothy, paler coloured bits. I did see one lady say if you use granulated sugar over a caster sugar, you get less scum, which I did use this time, but still seem to have a fair bit. So yep, so I'm going to take it off there, and then I'll let the jam sit there in the pan for 30 minutes to cool before I start putting it into the jars. So I've sterilised some jars, so all I've done is put them in some hot water, bath of hot water, and then dried them off. So I've got some jars, old jam jars, and I've got we've got one of these Kilner jam funnels, so it just sits really nicely inside the top of the jar, so it's easier, you don't spill so much. So I'm just going to give it a little stir, and then we'll pour it in, try not to spill any, and I'll try and fill up right to the top, so there's no air in the jar at all. Yep, that's the jar, so I'm just going to put the tops on as tight as I can, and then that'll cool overnight, and I'll label them up in the morning with what it is and a date when it was made, and they can go in our pantry that's nice and dark and cool, and then once we open it, we'll put it in the fridge. They should last quite a few months, assuming they don't get eaten, like that. So there is our jarred up jam. So we've ended up with 4 good size jars, totally full. I mean, this one at the back is probably twice the size of a normal jam jar, and they're pretty big too. And then this one is 3/4 full, so this will be my tester in the morning when it's cooled down. But yeah, pretty good amount of jam out of there, and the bits I tasted that I was testing earlier were pretty amazing, so I'm quite happy with that. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching a bit of jam making